Hey, people who've been around for a while will remember when I used to sit on the floor here for every single video that I filmed. I don't do that anymore because it's not comfortable and I like filming in my bedroom. However, my air conditioning is broken in my apartment, which actually it's not horrible timing because it is cooling down, obviously. It's still a little toasty. It's like 74 degrees in here, which, you know, a little hot. Anyways, my bedroom is like torn apart right now because they have to get into the closet in there, and that's like kind of right by where I film. So we're filming out in front of this today. I want to say I did a video, I don't even know when, but I'm pretty sure that I did one of series that I will never be finishing, of series that I had like started and never finished. I want to say I did that video. I could be wrong. If I did, I will link it down below. But I wanted to make a video of all of the series that I've started and haven't finished, but want to actually finish. I start a lot of series and I'm really bad about reading them and finishing them like back to back. I used to be really, really good about that. When I would start a series, I would finish it all the way through without starting anything else. I don't do that anymore. So I made a list of all the started series that I would actually like to continue on reading. Without further ado, let's jump in. These are in no particular order. They're just in whatever order I found when I was like searching through Goodreads and back through my reading journals. So Filthy Rich American series by Nikki Sloan. I have read the first 3 books in this series. I know there are 2 more out right now. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more after that. The first 3 follow the same couple, and then the last 2 are like standalones following different couples. I really enjoyed the first 3 books. They're short, they're quick, they're dramatic, they're just like over the top, rich people having drama, and I enjoy it. The 4th book I know follows the dad McAllister, who makes a lot of appearances in the first 3 books. I don't know who the 5th one follows, but I definitely want to continue on with the series and especially read McAllister's book. Next up, like the longest series known to man, the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon. So I have read the first 4.5 books in this series. There is like a Christmas novella that comes after the 4th book. So technically it's like number 5, but I think it's like 4.5 in the actual order. I definitely need to keep going with this series. I love it. I kind of use it as a palate cleanser when I'm just not feeling like a contemporary book. I kind of do that and like reverse harem to just kind of like switch things up a little bit. So I haven't read one in this series in a long time, but I just need to jump back into it. I thoroughly enjoy them. They're quick reads, they're fun, they're so different. I mean, obviously there's aliens and that's an enjoyable time, and I will literally never run out of books in this series because I probably won't ever get fully caught up, but I can dream. Next is a newer series that I just recently read the first book for a reading vlog that is going to be out. So when is this video going up? This is going up on Friday. So not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, this video is going to be coming out, and that is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This series is going on. So far the first 3 books are out. I've only read the first one. You'll hear my full thoughts about the first one in that vlog, but I think, you know, if I'm putting it on here and I'm wanting to keep going in the series, that I at least enjoyed it. So the second book follows a different couple, and then the 3rd book is back with Magnolia and BJ, and then I don't know how the books are going from there because I've not tried to like look ahead since I haven't even caught up on the next 2, but I will for sure be reading those at some point. And yeah. Okay, a series that y'all might be surprised I'm including this on this list because I have ranted about the first 2 books in this series. However, the 4 Horsemen series by Sarah Bailey. So this one has 4 books and I've read the first 2. I'm very frustrated with the series because we have so many vague mentions on plot things, but we have no actual answers. None. Not a single answer. And that bothers me. However, I have heard that the 3rd book, you finally get some answers in it. And also the smut in these books is like top tier. Top tier. So, and it's a reverse harem between Scarlet and the 4 horsemen. Toxic, once again, they're like rich, living like these bougie lifestyles that I will never have. So I enjoy it. I actually have the 3rd book downloaded on my Kindle. I've had it downloaded on my Kindle for a while and just haven't gotten around to reading it. So I'll definitely pick it back up at some point. Next, what do we have? The Boys series by Macaulay Smelter. So I have read, so there are 5 books out and I've read the first 3. I've loved them all. The 2nd book is by far my favorite. It's Cole and Zoe and it's so freaking cute, but they're all college sports romances. I don't know what the 4th book's tropes are, but I know the 5th one I want to say is brother's best friend. Not 100% sure on that, but I really love this series and I need to get caught up, and I'm pretty sure she's writing more in them. I don't even think it's complete yet. So obviously it's Macaulay Smelter. I want to keep going with them. Then, okay, I think this is a trilogy. I'm not 100% sure. For some reason, I'm actually thinking that there might be a 4th book with it, but I thought it was a trilogy, and that is the Vicious Lost Boys series by Nikki St. Croix. So this one is like a dark Peter Pan, reverse harem, adult Peter Pan retelling, and I've read the first 2 books, and I know the 3rd one came out recently, and I don't know why I'm thinking that there's a 4th. I really thought it was going to be wrapped up, but now I'm thinking that there might be a 4th book. I've really enjoyed the first 2 books, and the second one left on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I am excited to jump into book 3. I just haven't had a chance to, but it's definitely a series that I want to like round out, especially since it is following the same couple, or not couple, following the same characters. I need to get that like resolution, you know? Next is the Markham Hall series by Sierra Simone. So the first one is The Awakening of Ivy Leovold. So I've only read that one, and I'm pretty sure it's, did I say series, or I think it's 3 books? I could also be mistaken, but again, it's following the same couple, and it's a historical romance series, but with Sierra Simone, you know, you're getting a lot of spice in it too. I really enjoyed the first book in this. There's like a mystery around her husband, or no, they're not even married. There's a mystery around the dude that she's interested in because his past 2 wives have both died, and it's kind of like, is he a little suspicious? But I really liked this first book. And again, I think they're shorter. I think they're around like the 250 page length. So definitely want to keep going in that at some point. The only thing is that it's not on KU. So like not as high priority as the ones that are in KU. Next is the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher. So I've only read the first book in this series, and I have not kept going on it because I have 0 interest in reading the second book whatsoever. It's like friends to lovers. We got introduced to the 2 characters in the first book, and I was just like, I truly couldn't care less about you 2. However, I know how much Tori from Novel Life she loves. I think Wrecked is the 3rd book in it. And whenever she talks about it, I'm like, Michaela, just pick it up. So I do have this one downloaded on my Kindle, and I think I'm just going to skip the second book. I hate doing that. I really do, but I'm like, you know what, you just got to do it because I want to read Wrecked. So that's the 3rd book, and I think the 4th book sounded really good too. So I'm just going to skip over book 2 and keep it moving. This one's kind of cheating because it's a duet, but I'm including it on here anyways because I've been talking about reading this freaking book for so long, and that is The Enslaved Duet by Gianna Darling. I read the first book, which is Enthralled, and I haven't read the second book, which is Enamored, following the same couple. The first book left on a cliffhanger, so once again, why I haven't picked up book 2, I can tell you. It's like 600 pages, and Gianna Darling's writing takes me a while to read. I just can't read her books quickly. Like, I feel like they take me a long time to get through, so already on top of that, with it being 600 pages, and I just haven't felt like it. It's a very dark romance, and yeah, I just haven't been in the mood for it, but I need to read it because I want to read the When Heroes and Villains series by her and the Affair trilogy by her, which are all like connected in this world. So I do just need to get my ass on it and read Enamored. Next, another super dark romance series, which I sat on this one for the longest time of like, do I want to continue? Do I not? Because it is one of the darkest books that I've ever read, and that is the 24/690 series by A.A. Dark. So I read this one a couple of months ago, and I even sat on my rating for the longest time on it as well, because I was like, do I like this? Because it's insanely dark, and normally I don't like books with the situation that the heroine is in, when they have like 0 agency over their own lives and like just constantly like beat down and taken advantage of by men around them. However, the ending of this book, I was like, Everly is not a damsel in this situation. She is a player in this situation. I was very intrigued by the end of this book. So I want to keep going on in the series. I'm pretty sure it's a trilogy following the same people, but here's the thing with it. I have to be in the mood for it because it is insanely dark. So it's not one that I'm just going to like pick up on a whim. So I do want to continue on, but the mood will really have to strike me with this series. Next is, it's called the VENOM series by Shanora Williams. The first one I've only read the first one, which is Passion in Venom. Loved it. Dark mafia captive romance. Definitely want to continue on. I loved the first book. I'm really loving everything that I've read by Shanora. Oh, this was by like S. Williams, but it's like Shanora Williams. She just writes it under S. Williams for these because it's very dark compared to some of her other books. But once again, it's not in KU, so it's not as high priority, but I do really want to continue on with it because I'm really loving everything that I've read by Shanora Williams this year. Next is the Promised in Blood series by Lilith Vincent. I've only read the first book, and I'm not sure how many are in this series. I'm thinking it's three or four books. So I read the first one recently when Tamika asked me to co-host the Taboo Book Club. This was the pick for that, and I really enjoyed this book. And again, it left off on a cliffhanger, and I am intrigued. It's a reverse harem mafia romance, and obviously, like, I love all those things. And I really enjoyed this first book, and I'm interested to see how things play out as the series goes on. So I definitely, like, this is like a higher priority on my TBR. I really am interested to keep going with the series. Next is, I don't know what if it's called the Priest series by Sierra Simone. So I've only read the first book, Priest, and right now there are 3 books out and then like a novella, and I think she said she's writing 2 more books in this series. So I bought Sinner, I bought the ebook of Sinner like 2 years ago after I read Priest, and I just have never read it, and I just need to do it because I've heard amazing things about Sinner and really good things about Saint as well. And I just reread Priest with the book club that I have with some of my friends, and they've never read smut before. They had never read anything like Priest, and some of them grew up Catholic, so it was like very healing for them. It was just like a whole different experience reading it with them, and it just got me again being like, I just need to keep going in this series. And another Sierra Simone series, the New Camelot trilogy. So I've read American Queen, which is the first book, and it has 2 more books all following the same couple. It's an MMF menage relationship with like politics and stuff, because it's like the president, the vice president, and then the president's wife. Fun, wild time. The heroine kind of annoyed me a little bit in this. I can look past it, but she did kind of annoy me a little bit. And once again, I don't think these are in KU. Are they? So again, like, it's just like they haven't been top of my priority list, but I do want to keep going. I think the only series by Sierra Simone that I didn't include on here that I started is the Thorn Chapel series. I did not love A Lesson in Thorns. I thought it was fine, but I really don't know if I'd ever continue on with that series. So that's like the only Sierra Simone series I don't have in here. Okay. Sins of the Father series by Cora Riley. It's the Next Generation series from the Camorra Chronicles and the Born in Blood series. 2 of my all-time favorite Mafia series. I've read the first 2 books. They follow the same couple. Why it was 2 books, I couldn't tell you. I did not like these books whatsoever. I'm so disappointed by this Next Gen series. However, even the 3rd book came out, I think it was Dante and Valentina's daughter. And I haven't read it yet. Honestly, I'm in no rush. The reason I'm putting it on here, though, is because the next book that's going to be coming out, I think it's like By Sin I Falter or something. And it is going to be, whose son is it? Because it's Remo and Serafina's daughter. Favorite couple, love them. And it's Greta, and is it Amo? Oh, is that Luca and Arya's son? So it's like 2 of my favorite couples, 2 of the kids that I'm most looking forward to, even from like their original series that I saw, and I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued by those kids. So I will definitely be reading this one, but depending on how this one goes, will be the deciding factor if I read any more in this Next Gen series, because I was like so disappointed by the first 2. Okay, Sinners on Tour series by Olivia Cunning. So this is a Rockstar series, and I think there are 5 books, and I think it's complete. I've only read the first 3. So I had kind of like put this on the back burner last year because they're all traditionally published, so they're from my library. So I remember like I was having to get like holds for the last 2, and then when I finally got in the hold on the 4th book, I wasn't in the mood for it. And that is the problem with me being a mood reader and getting like holds for my library, because it's like, even when I got the hold, that doesn't mean I'm going to be in the mood for it, and I wasn't. But I do want to continue on. I really enjoyed the first 3 books in the series. Super spicy rockstar romances, just a lot of fun. And I think it's the 4th one, the one that it's like maybe MMF, I can't remember, but one of them is. So I especially want to get to that one. But yeah, I do want to wrap up the series at some time. Okay, where are we at? Royal Elite series by RINA Kent. A high priority read for me. I really want to get through more of RINA Kent's backlist because I read the first 3 in this series and loved all 3 of them. Like, I think I maybe gave the first one 4 stars and the next 2 5 stars. So they all follow the same couple, and then the rest of the series, I'm pretty sure it's 7 books total, all follow different couples. Just have not gotten back around to reading it. Even talking about it, actually, I'm like, I should re-download. I had Black Knight. I'm pretty sure that's the 4th one that it's called. I had that one downloaded on my Kindle for forever, and it just sat there and sat there and sat there. And I finally returned it because I wasn't reading it, but I think I want to re-download it because but Michaela, you don't have time this month, but I'm really excited to keep going on in this series. I've really enjoyed this series, and yeah, high priority. Next, Hoop series by Kennedy Ryan, another high priority one for me that I had. Is it Blockshot? Is that the second one? Again, I had that one downloaded for so long and then I returned it because I wasn't reading it. But I do definitely want to read that. I loved Longshot. I gave it 5 stars and I really want to continue on in the series. I think they're all basketball romances. I think they all stay in the world of the NBA. So I love sports romances. I love basketball romances. I just need to keep going with this. Lyndon Yu series by B. Celeste, another sports romance series. So I read the first book and only the second one is out right now, but she's about finished writing the third one, I want to say. And they're standalones. They're all college football romances, I think. I think the third one's gonna also be football. I know the first 2 are football. It was one of my most highly anticipated releases of the year. Beg You to Trust Me, I think is book 2. And when it came out, my mood wasn't into it. And then I've just kind of forgotten about it and put it on the wayside and it's gotten buried on my TBR. But I do want to read it, especially if it's going to a traditional publisher. I don't know if those are on KU anymore, actually. I should have checked that. Next, the Blame It on the Alcohol series by Fiona Cole. Again, another highly anticipated release for me this year. I've read the first 2. I haven't read Blame It on the Vodka yet. And again, I was so looking forward to this book. And again, when it came out, I just was not in the mood for it. So I definitely want to highly prioritize this one. I am going to be seeing Fiona Cole at Book Bonanza next year, which I'm so excited for because she's just one of my favorites. I've read almost her entire backlist. I think I just have this book and then she has one other series that I haven't read yet, but I've read like everything else by her and I absolutely love it. So definitely want to get to it. Next, a series that I've been absolutely loving, the Vancouver Wolves series by Odette Stone. So these are all hockey romances. So I've read the first 2 and I think there are 4 books out in it so far. So I need to read the second 2. Absolutely loved. 5 stars for both of the first 2 books. Obsessed. I read not Vancouver Wolves, Puck Me Secretly last year, then Home Game this year, and now watch. Maybe I'll finish the next book next year. Very fun. I love hockey romances. And Odette Stone's writing is just addicting. Like it just has an addictive quality that I can't put my finger on it of why, but when I start reading her books, I never want to put them down. The Fifth Avenue Rebels series by Joanna Shoup. So I've only read the second book in this series so far, so I completely skipped the first one because when Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings, we did a reading vlog together where she gave me books to read and I gave her books to read, and she gave me the second book in this series because it's a standalone. Like I didn't need to read the first one to understand it. And actually when I was talking about this with Jess on a live show recently, because I had told her that I was like, oh, I'm going to keep going on in that series, and I requested the first book from my library, and she was like, don't read the first one. I don't know if she read it and didn't like it or if she like had heard that it was just bad, so she skipped it. So I then canceled my request for the first one and put in a request for the third book. So I want to keep going. So there are 3 out right now, and the 4th one I think comes out in like January of next year. I've seen the cover, like some people are getting arcs of it. So I want to read the 3rd book and then read the 4th book. The last three series. So the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. So far the first 2 books are out. I've read the first one. I haven't read the second. High priority. My TBR. Don't take a shot of how many times I've said high priority on my TBR, because I say that for like every fucking series. And you know what happens? I don't get caught up because I got bogged down with other shit I have to read. So it's a high priority read for me this year. So the 3rd book isn't out yet. I'm most intrigued by the characters of the 3rd book actually. When I read the first one, the second couple, like I am excited for, but I remember when we got like slightly introduced to the 3rd couple, I was like very excited to read that. The Kings of Italy series by MILA Finelli. So this one is a Mafia series. I did not love the first book, and I don't know if it was from the mood that I was in. I was in a huge reading slump, and I was like really pushing myself to finish it, and I just was not vibing with it. So I really don't know if it was me or if it was the book. So I know that's part 1 of like a duet, and then the second book follows the same couple, but then the 3rd book that just came out follows another character that we're introduced to in the series, and everyone has been raving about that 3rd book. So I do want to keep going in the series. I want to give it a shot. I love Mafia romances, and I'm really thinking that the first book just had to do with me being in a bad mood. So I want to keep going in it at some point. And the last series, the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. So how many are out at this point? Is it 3 or 4? are out at this point, and I've read the first one. I've read Hooked, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And once again, I do think that that had to do with my mood at the time. I read it, did I read it earlier this year? And I was just like, it's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it, whatever. But they're all like twists on Disney stories, which I love Disney. I did the Disney college program. I'll tell everyone that I met that I did it. I'm obsessed with Disney, and I want to keep going because I think the second one is like Lion King, but like Scar. And then the third one is it The Wizard of Oz? I don't think that's Disney. Also, fun fact, I've never seen The Wizard of Oz. I probably don't ever plan to. I know it's a classic movie. I know everyone has seen it. I know everyone loves it. My mom never showed it to me when I was younger because apparently a dog gets like taken away by some like flying creatures, and she knew that that would upset me. Which she is right. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for animals since day one, y'all, day one. So when I say that any books has like animal violence in it and that triggers me, it's been from day one that I've had issues with any sort of harm or mistreatment towards animals. I can read about people getting unalived in books all day long, but if there's even someone looks at a pet the wrong way in a book or an animal the wrong way in a book, I'm done. So I don't know how I got that sidetracked, but also I love the covers of those books. I think they're stunning. And yeah, I do want to continue on with that series at some point. All right. So that's all the series that I want to keep reading at some point. It's a lot, and I won't ever get caught up on them because I'm going to start new series and I'm going to just keep on adding more to the list. But these are the ones that at least that I have started and would like to continue on. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Next Tuesday, I'm going to have my student teacher romance video up. It's going to be a collaboration with someone, so that's going to go up on Tuesday. And then next Friday is going to be another video. I guess I won't say. It's not that exciting. I just, you don't need to know everything, because what if I decide that I don't want to do that video? Because actually this video was supposed to be next Friday, but then I didn't feel like filming the video that was supposed to go up today, so I was like, well, we'll just swap them. So maybe I'll feel like filming that video next week. This is why I don't like telling you guys what I do, because I like to change my mind a lot. But student teacher for sure will be up next Tuesday. So excited about that. I know you guys have been waiting for it. Thank you for being patient. And yeah, that is it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.